All right, let's get started, everyone. I hope the talk about event was interesting. I heard there was a talk before about knowledge that was really good as well. So let's continue talking about the marketing apps. All right, I will start with the question. If you have the answer, you can raise your hand just so that I know if at least one person has the answer. Do you know, guys, what this is? Any idea what this is about? Maybe someone can read cuneiform writings or something. No answer, I guess. Okay. Well, this is actually the first ever found customer complaint. It's about 4,000 years old, and it's a guy called Nani that actually is complaining about his copper supplier. It's actually a wall of text where he explains that the copper he received was of really poor quality. So that's the first ever customer complaint. And it's not just a tweet, it's just not an angry tweet. It's actually a guy that took the time to write this in a clay tablet because he was so mad about the product he had gotten that he decided to do something about it. Today we are 4,000 years old later, and we still talk, at least I do right now, about this guy that was delivering bad quality merchandise, which is called Ean Nasir. Why am I talking about that? Because it's probably the first ever example of bad marketing. The guy is still known 4,000 years later for delivering bad service. But that means that if we can talk about bad marketing, then we probably talk about good marketing, right? But what would be good marketing? Well, let me show you an ad that was published by a well-known brand. Here is an ad that was considered good marketing. It's an ad for razors, and the idea is let's give razors to our babies. It was a real ad, it had its own success, it's pretty known. But can it really be good marketing? Well, it probably was at the time, but today it's not at all. What does that tell us? It tells us that marketing evolves with time. There's no one recipe that you can use forever. When you market something, you need to keep up with what's happening, with the different evolutions, etc. And of course, you cannot advertise in 2024 as you do in the 50s or 60s or 70s. You need to keep up. And it's really important. If you're a business owner, a marketer, or a consultant, you need to make sure that your practice keeps evolving, that you're always evolving with the different trends. And well, good news, because today we'll talk about what's new in marketing. How can Odoo help you face those challenges and make sure that your marketing is relevant to the time we're in, which is extremely competitive. My name is Luc Nellis. I'm really happy for being here because I have quite a few features to show. So let's get started. You know the drill by now. We have the QR code and the link. So if you have any question, you can write it there. Depending on how much time we will get at the end of the talk, we'll try to answer to as many as possible. If we don't answer here, don't worry, there's a marketing booth where you can go and maybe sit down to see the different things you want to talk about. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. As we were saying, if you're a business owner or marketing, you need to be on top of trends. That's why I decided to orient my talk here, the different trends and how Odoo can help you face those challenges. The first one is, today, consumers don't want ads, they want content. We see so many ads every day. According to some sources, it's up to 10,000 per day. Whatever we do, there's always ads. There's ads in the bus, on our phones, on the streets, on the buildings. There's ads everywhere. And it's really tiring for us. It's really not something we like as customers. We see way too many ads. So how can you react to that as a marketeer or as a business owner? What you would try to do instead is to create engagement. You cannot just shout the name of the product again and again and again in the ears of your prospects and hope for them to actually like your product. You need to create a conversation. It needs to go both ways, and that's what we're trying to do here. Which tool could we use in the marketing suite? Well, for that, we'll see. But let's first remember, what is the marketing that works best? What is the marketing that brings the most revenues right now? Well, influencers. Why is it? Well, because influencers, they create content that people actually want to look at. Even if there's ads in the middle, even if the entire video is purely an ad, influencer got the thing of, it will be educational, it will be funny, it will be weird, but all in all, it's worth watching. It's bringing value. So, Odoo will help you do that with, let's talk about two of those tools. We have email marketing and social marketing. Email marketing, let's have a look. So it's an app that we'll find here once you install it, and when we open it, we have the list of all the mailings we've installed. Okay, for now, if you know Odoo, you've already used it, and you know how it works. You have your subject, you define your recipients, and then you play around with the content. That's one way to do it. What you could do, for example, if you want to bring value and really create a customer base that likes to hear about you, would be, for example, to have a newsletter where every week you would use, for example, the Odoo marketing tool to send your content. And we call it newsletter. If you're looking for ideas on how to improve it, or what to tell about, or any formatting ideas, we have templates prepared for you. You will find one here. Let's say that I customize this and I'm really happy with how it looks. It fits my brand and I'm going to use it every week. What I can do in Odoo 18 is just click on this button to add it to my templates. From now on, I can restart from this as a template whenever I need it. Let me show you. I create a new mailing and it's just here. When I use this shortcut, I get the same design and I can carry on from where I was. Okay, any other thing that we can use to make it more engaging? How about trying to address the customers through their first name? Well, if you know Odoo, you know that on the mailing contacts, we have a field called name where we regroup everything. Well, that was until Odoo 18, because now in the configuration, we have an option that you can activate if it fits your market and culture, where we split the first and the last name. All of a sudden, you don't have a single field, you actually have two different fields, which means that if I go back to the mailing contacts, and I create a new one, I can create John, and then as a family name, Doe. And Odoo fills the name for me. That's interesting, because now it means that I can split both. And this goes really well with another new feature that we added, which is the ability to easily use those as, for example, the subject. So I would say, here is your newsletter, and I want to add the first name, so I will use the magic one here. I would say first name. And here what I get, let's click here. Here what I get is a dynamic value that will be updated for each different recipient, where we will use their first name to try to catch their attention in their inbox. All of a sudden, as you can see, we're trying to move further and further down to catching their attention and really providing something that's interesting. If you catch their attention and then it's just a huge ad, next time they will forget about you, they will ignore you or treat you as spam. But if you provide value, then they will go back to your email. Okay, we also talked about social marketing. Social marketing is pretty cool because, as you can see, you can keep an eye on all your different social channels and see the different things that have been posted. A new feature that I really like is the ability to be able to have a single post, as we already have. So for example, I would like to post on Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. The problem is, in Odoo 8, in Odoo 17, if I do this, as you can see, it's really cool because I have a single post that regroups my communication for all my different accounts. So I don't have to switch between all my different accounts, and I don't have to worry about those. If I want to send at a specific time my post on all platforms, I can do it. The problem that we had up to this version was that, let's be honest, you do not communicate on the same way, with the same tone on Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. So what we did is we kept what is really useful here, having a single post and being able to post at the same time. But you see we have a button here, split per media. What it does is keeping the structure, but allow me more freedom here, because now I can have a different text on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. On Facebook, I will probably, for example, I could use emojis and have a communication that's a bit different. On Twitter, I will make sure to be really short because I don't want to have something that's too long. And on LinkedIn, I will maybe have something really formal because it's a platform where you don't communicate on the same way. So that's a new feature that should allow you to keep all the good things about social marketing, which is posting with a single post on the different platforms, but at the same time, it allows you to make sure that you can adjust your tone. Once you post it, since you're using Odoo, you can actually track the number of clicks, opportunities, quotations, etc., that your own post actually brought, which is pretty interesting. Okay, let's go further. Let's say that you want to have a look at, is what I am doing actually any useful? we have actually a new dashboard. Maybe you heard about the app. Well, there's now a dashboard for email marketing. You'll find it inside the app. And thanks to our consultants that have been working on it, you can now see the different KPIs for your database, and you can navigate in this dashboard. It's available in your database per default, and from there, if you have different metrics that you want to keep an eye on, it's possible, you could customize it. Here it's more of a demo, but you can see that actually, if we connect the ability of creating custom reporting, for example, to filter by responsible with the data that's already available with Odoo, you can go further in terms of reporting and making sure that what you do actually brings some money back. Okay. Something else that has really changed in the way we behave with brands is that by default now, brands are seen as suspicious, right? In the 50s, for example, if you were a big corporation or a government, people would just be, yeah, I usually had a lot of GIFs in my slides because I know it catches the attention of the other people watching the other slides. So in the 50s, you could just say, well, I'm the government, and what I say is true, and people would trust you. It would be the same as a brand. Now it's completely the opposite. When you say something, if you're a big corporation, people are doubtful, and by default, you seem to be lying, even if what you say is completely true. So how can you make sure that you reach your audience with your message, considering that they don't actually trust you? Well, how about using some relays, some brand ambassadors? That's the famous influencer that we were talking about. Those people have an audience that trusts them, that they trust, which means that we can use them as a relay for our message. And actually, this is something that we used for this very event, for the audio experience. Because the goal is to use the network of your own network and to make sure that the content that you provide and that you post can actually be shared by others. Let's take an example that will allow me to introduce a brand new app that we released with this new version, a brand new marketing app. Let's say that, well, I organized the audio experience and I basically rented a big hallway in Brussels. Now the goal is to fill it in with as many attendees as possible. Well, as a company, I have my mailing list, I have my customer base, I have some contacts that already know me and that I already know. So I can easily announce the event to them and try to get feedback that way, right? But how about using the people that are the influencers that I'm working with? For example, here at Odoo Experience, we get a ton of talented speakers, people that are leaders in the industry, that have their own networks and follower base. What we want to do is to ask them to actually help us promote the event, right? But it's not that easy because those people are leaders in their industries, which means they're very busy. And they're not really the kind of people that will help you out and take a lot of time. They will not create a banner for your event, and they will not really help you out, except if we make it as easy as possible for them. And that's what Marketing Card is all about. Let me show you. So we go back, and you see now there's a new app called Marketing Card. Let's take an example that I have prepared. The idea is the following. We will prepare all the content for our brand ambassadors so that they don't have any effort to make when they will relay our message. And what we do is, well, I want to be contacting my event tracks. So those are my speakers of my event. And I want them to promote Odoo Experience, so odoo.com/experience. But I know they won't do it except if I really make it easy for them. So what I do is, I create a beautiful card that they just have to relay. I'm creating a dynamic banner that will work for every track. And you can see I have a ton of options to customize it. I can use content that is static, things that are right and that will be displayed the same for every speaker, or I can use dynamic values to, for example, on each different card, for each speaker, they will each receive a card with their name, their picture, and the name of their talk, plus, for example, their job description. Well, this is something that would take them some time, but we're giving it to them so that they can just relay it. What would happen for now? Well, when I'm happy with this, and you see I have quite a few different styles that you can try with different layouts. We could try it with different background pictures, etc. When I'm happy with that, I just use the send button to send it to my audience. And from there, they will each receive an email with their own card with the dynamic values. It will be their name and their picture. What happens when they click inside it? They will get to a page that looks like this. And it basically asks them, well, help us share the news. Here is a banner that we made for you. And here is how to share it. We just removed 95% of the work. All they have to do is, for example, click on a single network that they actually use, and they will be able to share our link with our picture and the banner that we provided for them. Normally, if you follow some people around Odoo, you will see that this is already a process that we've been using because we know it brings a lot of attention through the network of our own network. So that's a new app, and we're really happy to see how people will use it. Okay, let's move on. Next big challenge, of course, as a business owner is it's always on. Even a very small company in the countryside of Wallonia can actually be behind an e-commerce platform that's actually selling all the time, even when the business owner is sleeping. So how can you keep up in top of marketing if you need to be doing things while you'll be sleeping? Well, you have only one solution. You need to automate your marketing. So how can you do it? Well, we have an app that does actually just that, and it's called Marketing Automation. Let me show you how it works. Marketing Automation is the app that you can use to create your own workflows. Let me show you, for example, one here. What you do is you define your recipients, you create your rules, and then you create your workflows. For example, we will send a first email after 2 hours, then we will wait 2 hours, and if we get a click, we will do a specific action. So you can create sort of if-then different workflows and create some different steps that will be triggered even when you're sleeping. Now, it's an app that's clearly not that easy to use, so in Odoo 18 we try to make it as simple as possible. First thing that we improved is that now we explain in clear text, in this small summary, what this action will actually do, so that when you're tweaking the parameters, you can see the impact that it will have. For example, what's expiry duration? Well, I can click on it, and you see the activity will be cancelled if, let's put a 5 here, after 5 hours, there's something has not happened. And what we want to do with this is to make sure that our users know what they're doing, because of course, you don't want to send 1,000 emails by mistake. And we wanted to go a bit further. So to inspire you for your own campaigns, we added a template here. And as you can see now, when you create a new marketing automation campaign, you have different options. For example, in terms of marketing, we have some campaigns that you could reuse, CRM, and also e-commerce. It's, of course, not something you will use per se like this, but it's probably a good start, and it can show you a bit what the app can do. For example, if I use this one, you can see we first send a first email, we wait 1 week, and if they opened it, we send another one. Okay, now we are automating our marketing, and we're getting further into keeping up with those trends. But the main point that I would like to stress out today would be, don't have a marketing tool that looks like this. Far too often, when we check at SMEs that are having troubles with their marketing, it just looks like this. It's a complete mess. Why? Well, because they have their ERP in some sort of ecosystem, or sometimes it's even different tools, and then the marketing on the other side. And they don't really communicate, so they try to make them communicate by adding either some connectors that are tricky to get right, not always synchronized, etc., or they use exports, and it's not that easy either, and you need to do it manually. What I would really advise any SME is make sure you use a system where everything is integrated. It should live in the same ecosystem. What you do with Odoo is not have the best marketing tools per se alone, but they are living inside your Odoo system, which means that when you do a mailing, you do it based on your own ERP data. You can target the attendees of an event, you can choose which one, and you don't have to do filters or create connectors for that. By the way, if you're interested by this, the next talk on this very stage will be about this, and you will see quite a few examples of how far you can go in terms of filtering or being reactive, because everything lives in the same system. Thank you for your attention. What we'll do today, what we'll do now is just go through the Q&A. If you don't have it, here it is back again. If you want to add a few questions, yeah.
Hi, Luke. Thank you so much for this amazing presentation, which triggered a lot of questions.
Cool.
Will TikTok be added to the social marketing module?
It's not planned for now. Yeah, but I know it's requested often, but for now we don't plan to have it. We prefer to improve the ones that we have. The ones that I have in mind, but it's not a promise, is possibly Messenger.
Messenger,
Yeah.
cool. Are we going to be able to manage posts that were not posted on the Odoo app?
You will not be able to manage them because, well, they've been posted, so it's too late, there's not much to do, but they will appear in your feed. So the feed that I showed will show all the posts from your account, even if you post them from, for example, X directly. Yeah.
Is the marketing suitable to manage customer segmentation and create automatically AI campaigns?
Yeah, that's the thing actually, is that you have everything in the same ecosystem, so you can really do your own segmentation based on data that lives inside your system. So you can say, I will contact all the customers that made an order with this specific product for this amount in this country. And then if you saw the marketing automation app, you will be able to indeed create your workflow that's automated, and that will work continuously for all the people that meet those rules.
Will you implement social media advertising, for example, Google Ads for LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, etc.?
We'll see. The problem is that those connectors, those APIs, are not always available and not really easy to access. So for now, as I said, we prefer to really improve as much as possible what we have before starting to add something new.
Why are members on mailing lists not connected to contacts? It would be nice for salespersons to see which kind of emails the contact has received through email marketing.
Fully agreed. It's on my to-do list. Probably we'll try to come up with a solution because there's indeed something to improve here. I agree.
Coming soon.
Yeah, good feedback. And we'll see.
Where can we find information about the triggers in automation?
Yeah, I had to go really fast to just brush a bit the different things we could do. There's a ton of different triggers, like the person opened the email, clicked on it, replied. It also works with text messages or WhatsApp messages. So if the person replies to the WhatsApp messages, do something, etc. There's quite a few options, yeah.
Can I track abandoned cart email campaigns with the email marketing tool?
So you have a built-in tool for that in the e-commerce, right? That can send email reminders, but you could also add your own campaigns with different triggers and mailings that you create. Yeah, you can target those cards. Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's integrated, but they're asking for specific templates for product reviews or campaign reviews.
So I showed a bit the different templates that we have. Maybe depending on the feedback, we had a few new ones. If you have good ideas, maybe let everyone know. But for us, it's more about onboarding and showing here are the things you can do. But we know they won't use those campaigns in production, tomorrow. That's not the point.
Is it possible to manage more than one social media account in one database?
Yeah, you can add quite a few ones, and you can even have different, for example, accounts that belong to the same platform. So if you have different LinkedIn accounts or X accounts, and that's the point of using the app, is that you can prepare your post, schedule it, and post it on all your different accounts without having to switch and copy and paste, etc. Yeah.
This is a more practical question. Have you improved the tracking of emails? Often we get replies, but the reply is not registered on the email statistics.
If you have some specific use cases, I would say to go to the booth so that we can check together, or maybe with the developers of our team if you have really found a moment where maybe we should improve something. But as far as I know, the flows are pretty okay. Yeah.
Okay. Has the email marketing editor for new mailing been improved in terms of formats looking good on all devices?
So by default, it should look good everywhere. Otherwise, let us know. Sometimes Outlook changes the rules and we need to adapt a bit. So if you see that the email looks sort of broken in Outlook, let us know and we'll fix it through the support. Now, in terms of improving the editor, so we have a brand new editor in Odoo, but for now, it's not been deployed on email marketing, so that will be for a future version as soon as possible because we are really looking for an improvement.
Are we able to get inside Odoo the social media KPIs for publishing on social media?
Yeah, so that's one of the advantages of using social marketing is that you are posting your post, for example, through your e-commerce. It's the same system. So when you post and, for example, promote a product, we can track the people that click on this link, actually go to your e-commerce and make an order, which means that you can track, well, this post promoting the product brought this many revenues and this many orders, for example. And this we can do because it's everything in the same system, and so we don't need a connector, and, well, we know the orders because they are in your sales app.
Everything integrated in Odoo, that's what we like, right?
Yeah, that's the point.
Is it possible to use exclusion mailing lists?
No, what we have is a block list system where if people really want to leave stop receiving updates from you, they can say, add me to the block list, and they won't receive updates. But otherwise, if you say I want to contact people from a specific list but not specific persons, what you should do is, I guess the person asking will get what I mean, is instead of targeting a mailing list, you would target your mailing contacts. And then as a rules, you would say mailing contacts of that list, except, for example, and then you will add some other rules. And
Okay.
it will go like this.
I still have a lot more questions, but I'll ask one last.
Okay.
Are you working on it's about lead generations, creating leads from Messenger?
Well, first we need Messenger, right? We have an integration between social and the CRM, but it's more if you, for example, post about something and people comment about it, you can create a lead to make sure that someone follows up on that comment. But for now, we don't have it through Messenger. I suppose the first step would be add Messenger, and then probably we'll look into it because indeed our goal with the marketing apps is to feed as many leads as possible in the CRM to make sure that afterwards we can follow up through the Kanban, etc. Yeah.
Amazing. So Luke will have you at the booth if you have any more questions. Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Thanks.